Here's what your family and friends might not be telling you about Medicare that you really need to know. So I talk to so many people on a regular basis who are turning 65. They're new to Medicare. They're trying to figure out the puzzle, and they just want to get good advice and good information. And that makes sense. We all want to make sure that we have the best possible medical coverage that we can afford. But what I've noticed is that many of these people who talk to family members or friends hear something very similar, and that is Medicare pays for everything. So, of course, when they start looking around at plans and they start thinking about coverage options, maybe they've talked to a broker or done some online research, it's only natural that they're looking for a plan that quote unquote covers everything. Here's what your family and friends might not be telling you though. First of all, no matter what, you are going to have to pay your monthly Part B premium. In 2025, that's $185 a month. I think what happens sometimes is because people on Social Security have that amount deducted from their benefit, they don't think about it in the same way as a check going out of their account, so to speak, or a debit, if you will. So because they have Social Security and they have Medicare and their Part B premium is being deducted from that Social Security benefit, to them, it feels like they're not paying anything. If you add to that they have a $0 Medicare Advantage plan, notice I said $0 Medicare Advantage, meaning $0 premium. I didn't say free because as an agent, I'm not allowed to say that. It feels like they, for all intensive purposes, have free health insurance. If they're healthy and they don't go to the doctor much, they don't need many medical services done, especially when they're new to Medicare, then in their mind, they're thinking, this is great. I have basically free health insurance. So you, as a new, soon-to-be new Medicare beneficiary, you're thinking, wow, I need this too. I want to have basically free Medicare that covers everything. So I think one thing that happens is, one, people forget about the Part B premium that they're paying many times from their Social Security benefit. It's still something that is going out of your benefit, so you're paying that. And then two, if they have a $0 Advantage plan, that means there's not some sort of health insurance premium going somewhere. And so to them, it feels free. Now, here's what they don't tell you. People who are not healthy, who do go to the doctor, who need a lot of services, are paying out-of-pocket costs if they have one of those $0 Medicare Advantage plans. If this is in the form of a co-payment, co-insurance, or deductible. One of the very first Medicare appointments I ever did back in 2018, I actually went to this person's apartment to talk about Medicare with them. And they presented their Medicare coverage this way. They said, it's great. I love this plan. It's so robust. Well, I started to dig a little deeper and I asked him, I said, well, do you pay like a co-payment at the doctor? And he wasn't even sure what I meant when I said co-payment. So I said, when you go to the doctor, do they ask you to write a check for something? Oh, yeah, sure. Well, he paid a co-payment, so he had written a check for that. But because it was a small amount, $15 or $20, to him it seemed insignificant. And then I said, well, what about when you go to a specialist? Oh, yeah, I pay a little more if I go to a specialist. Well, how much is that? So he looked in his check account. Well, it turns out that he was a regular patient, both for just a general physician, but also a specialist. And as he showed me his checkbook, he had all of these co-payment checks that he had written to go to the doctor. But because they were small and they were spread out, to him, it felt like everything was covered, especially because somebody who has had some kind of major health insurance all their life, they're used to co-payments and deductibles, right? That's just normal. So you want to keep that in the back of your mind when you're talking to a family member or a friend. The other thing that could be happening is that, and I've seen this, is that your family member or friend has a Medicare Supplement plan. Now, this is as opposed to a Medicare Advantage plan. They also call these Medigap plans. And they feel like all of their health insurance is covered. They feel like Medicare covers everything. But again, I just want to remind you, they have to pay their monthly Part B premium. For most people, again, in 2025, it's $185. So those funds are going out from somewhere, whether it's your Social Security check or your checking account. It has to be paid to have Medicare in place. But if you have a supplement or a Medigap plan, you do have a monthly premium that comes from your checking account or savings account usually, or a credit card. That is an additional monthly payment that you're paying for your Medicare coverage. So let's say that you have traditional or original Medicare, so you're paying that $185 a month for Part B, and you have a Medicare Supplement or a Medigap plan. And let's say it's $150 to $170 a month. So now you have $185 plus $150, $170. You're getting close to $400 a month for your Medicare coverage. Again, if that's an automated payment from a debit card, or I should say a checking account or a savings account, again, it just feels like everything's covered. So what I tend to find is that when people tell me that they have a family member or a friend who has talked to them about Medicare, I always say, ask them what kind of plan they have. And usually, with very few exceptions, the person can't even say what plan they have, or they'll name a company. They'll say, I have my supplemental insurance through this company. Here's the point. Unfortunately, many people don't look at the full picture when it comes to Medicare. They don't look at the out-of-pocket costs from a Medicare Advantage plan. They don't think about the monthly premium for a Medigap payment in addition to their Part B premium. And if all of that is automated, of course it feels like everything's covered. But the difference between a Medicare Advantage plan and a Medicare Supplement plan are very, very different. Here's a simple test that you can do the next time someone lauds their Medicare plan. Ask them if they know where the outline of coverage or the summary of benefits are. Ask them if they know where theirs is. Chances are, I would bet they don't know, which means that they probably really don't know what type of plan they have. I've learned this through being an agent and talking to people, hundreds of people in meetings around Medicare, but I've learned this from being at my local fitness center and talking to people who are on Medicare who aren't clients of mine. I'll just randomly ask them, what kind of plan do you have? They don't know. They can't tell me. They're not sure. They'll just say the company, or they'll say my wife does it all. So the point of this video is this. Again, get all the information that you can, get help where you can, but take all of that information that you get with a grain of salt. It's always best, in my opinion, to speak to a licensed professional who really, truly understands the ins and outs of Medicare so that you can get the best information possible. That's why I made this YouTube channel. I hope you're subscribed so you can continue to learn about Medicare. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment below, or you can always book a call with me through my website, meetjamie.com. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, share it with a friend, and we'll see you in the next one.